I quote, Budget 2022 will provide the most rapid period of modernization and transformation ever witnessed in Guyana's history. That was coming from the senior minister in the office of the president with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, as he unveiled Budget 2022. Joining me in studio at this time for another episode of Budget in Focus is the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Oneidge Walrond. Thank you so much for being here, Minister.
Thank you very much for having me,
All
Bruce.
right. The first question to you at this time, given the context of how Budget 2022 was rolled out, in just 18 months, we have seen rapid transformation in the country. With all that being said, Budget 22 seeks to stimulate the economy and ensure that at the household level, everyone's lives is transformed. In that context, generally, what is your observation or what would you say is very exciting about Budget 2022?
Well, as you know, Bruce, it took the finance minister 5 hours and 50 minutes to deliver all of the exciting things that the budget is going to present. So there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. Speaking for my sector, the it continues to follow the theme of enhancing the lives of Guyanese, every Guyanese, and the idea that we want to make sure that every Guyanese feels the impact and sees the transformation that is happening in Guyana. This budget is particularly transformational. This will be the budget that will launch Guyana in the transformational agenda that we've been talking about as government and that we've envisioned in 2020 when we took government and when we this is the budget that people are going to see the roads. They're going to see a flurry of activity as Guyana is finally catapulted and launched into this transformation. And so at the Ministry of Tourism, we're as well going to be busy with our industrial estates program, with our small business development program, with tourism and our standards program. So it's a particularly exciting. It's going to be a lot of work. The fact that the budget is now read and that we have the allocations have been presented. When the budget is approved, there is going to be enough that we have, enough given to us to do the work that is at hand, and the work is a tremendous work. But it's really an exciting budget. It has spoken volumes of a government that believes that Guyana is not going to be mediocre, that we are going to be first and foremost amongst in this hemisphere, amongst one of the more developed nations, and doing and getting that title and taking that title takes a lot of hard work and vision, which is what we have, and we're prepared to do the work.
Thank you so much for that, Minister Waldron. Specifically, it was launched under the theme Steadfast Against All Challenges, Resolute in Building Our One Guyana. I want to let us look back a little bit. We have had the COVID-19 pandemic. There was the flooding that impacted us severely. Can you tell me specifically how the year has been, those 18 months, delivering your service? But before we get into that, before we get into your service also, I want to specifically talk about the slew of measures that will really enhance or ease the cost of living situation that we will see. How is that going to be received at the household level?
Right. The pandemic has been particularly challenging, and as you noted, the floods as well came as if we didn't have enough challenges, and the floods came. But we dealt with it last year by, in my particular sector, COVID, $50 million was allocated under the small business program to give to small businesses. This is a COVID relief grant to small businesses to help alleviate the hardship that all of that money is being dispensed on in that program. And there was the COVID relief grants to every household, and we will continue to alleviate the hardship that has been being meted out to our small businesses. By this year, the small businesses grant has been increased by 50%, so we now have $300 million as opposed to 200 from last year's allocation to give to small businesses. How does the regular person. So you're saying the household, every single household, and this budget is particularly interested and focused on households feeling the impact. Because we can talk about the transformational agenda going happening in the country where construction is booming and hotels are going up and all these things are happening indeed. But we want to make sure that the impact is felt at the households, at the dining tables of our families. And so disposable income has been increased. So by giving increasing because we care cash grants for every student, and it does, when you think that one measure does so much for the family, it's impact. It increases the enrollment rate of our children because the children have been, especially in our outlying communities, have not been enrolled in school because of the pandemic, and to get them re-engaged. And so what you have is us assistant parents to give them money to get the children. This encourages them to get children enrolled because you're not entitled to the because you get a cash grant if the child is not enrolled. So it impacts. It's a double impact, and really a trickle down impact for those families. And the uniform grant has been increased. Old age pension has been increased. So there is the threshold, income threshold has been increased. So all of these measures has been implemented to raise to the increase disposable income. So families have more to provide for their children. And when we speak about the developments in manufacturing and developments in hotels, these provide jobs, immediately construction jobs, and then later on sustainable jobs in the different industries. And we're developing out and building out more industrial estates, which is more businesses have an opportunity to start out in their business at a beginning with at low cost. We've also have a program under this budget to help with businesses in the oil and gas sector to become more competitive, so they're able to compete with international businesses. That too, our local businesses. So that means they employ our locals as well. So all of that, when Guyanese are being employed, they're earning income, they're getting assistance for their children all around at the community level. We're seeing more hospitals are being built out. So there is direct impact, and I could go on and on, Bruce. There is clearly in this budget you can see it's a government who's interested in the betterment of the lives of all Guyanese.
Yes. Minister, I would like us to take a look specifically at your sector now. I remember one time we had a discussion and you were telling me about how the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the tourism sector specifically heavily.
Yeah.
So when you assumed office, there was a lot of cleaning up to do and a lot of challenges in that regard. How will Budget 2022 strengthen what already exists, and what other or new initiatives can we see being birthed because of this transformational budget, specifically in tourism, firstly?
Yes. So if you recall, Bruce, the decimation of the tourism sector was no secret. When we became into government, we saw and we continue to believe in the Guyanese product as a Guyanese tourism product, and that tourism will be one of the leading export earners for Guyana. And so we implemented specific measures to help the tourism operators. So we give the training in sanitization protocols, because people want to travel, but they want to make sure that they can travel safely, that it's done in a safe manner. And so we opened up the airports, which was significant made a significant impact on our tourism. Our visitors' arrival increased by 52% in last year, and we expect to see an even higher trajectory for this year. And that is for specific measures being put in place where government secured vaccines, so our citizens can get vaccinated. For tourism and the tourism operators, the Guyana Tourism Authority was integrally involved in making sure that the operators adhere to sanitization protocols, so people felt safe for coming out. And of course, Guyana's tourism product is geared for a COVID environment, because we are wide open spaces, heavily ventilated, and it's catering to small groups. So we will continue to build on that in 2022. This year, we're going to be focusing heavily on marketing. We are confident that we have a product that is, we have a hotels accommodation that's going to be, is set on to come on stream. It is already starting to build out. Rooms are being built out. And so we are going to be stressing on marketing, partnerships with the diaspora and airlines to bring more airlift in. And so we're going to see a flurry of activities in the tourism sector here. We're already seeing the resorts and the in the outlying regions being booked for months. And so we've sent out an expression of interest that's going to be is going to expire. That is, the deadline is in February, the end of February, for hotels and for more hotels and resorts to where government is going to be giving incentives for private operators to come and start, investors to come and start to build resorts, major resorts, because we want to be able to offer our visitors that the experience, the luxury experience, as well as the rustic experience. And so I am really excited for the prospects of tourism in Ghana, and more so government. We have put our money where our mouth is. We have this. We continue to. We've allocated millions to our marketing. We're going to be doing aggressive marketing, influencer campaign. So we're going to be putting Guyana more and more aggressively on the map.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see some of those programs being rolled out. On the flip side of it, as we look at the business community, there was also some amount of challenge taking office, having to reinvest in businesses and their confidence in working with government. How has that been? And also, what are some measures that we can expect that will impact the business community regarding Budget 2022? And how will those also be sustained to aid in the transformative agenda that President Ali speaks about?
Yes. Bruce, I think that I know that the private sector has seen, they've heard, and they've seen the tangible support that government has given to our private sector, knowing that they are the engine of growth, knowing that they are the ones that they're going to hire our Guyanese, and because government can't hire all the people, and they're the ones that are going to fuel the growth of this economy. And so we, from day one, we have said that we want to be partners we want the private sector to be partners in development. So I believe that from the very onset, we saw the private sector responded to that, to government's position that we want to support you, and that whatever it is that you would need to enhance and grow your business, government will be here to listen and to help. And so what you found is that the expression of interest that went out for the branded hotels, we got almost we got 2 dozen of those expression of interest, and that is a response to the confidence. And you find businesses being open. Some of them I have attended, some of them other ministers have attended, some of them have opened without any fanfare. And more you're seeing in the different communities that businesses are being opened, and that speaks to investor confidence. We have inquiries from all of the embassies and chambers of commerces are so abuzz because of interest that investors and businesses have in our economy. Our local content bill is the passing of that bill, it was a resounding sign and signal, as if they needed another one from to the private sector, from government, that we are earmarking and deciding that our Guyanese businesses have to benefit from the oil and gas. And we made that law where international operators like Exxon and the others that will come in have to use our local talent, have to use our local businesses. And that itself says to the entire business community that we have confidence in you and that we're not going to develop Guyana without you. And that has also given them confidence. And this budget, this new budget, we are, for those businesses, Guyanese businesses that are new to the oil and gas and new to this thing and don't necessarily have the capacity, we have earmarked billions of dollars to give them and help them to develop this capacity so they can be competitive, not only in Guyana, but globally. Now, that is remarkable, and that, for me, is once again telling the private sector that we have confidence in you and we are willing to put our money in partnership with you that you are able to develop to our Guyanese businesses.
Thank you. As we're coming down to program time, my final question to you at this time, given where Guyana is positioned to be, where we currently are, looking at the influx of tourists coming for both business and leisure purposes, looking at the Guyanese economy, the citizens right here, being able to benefit tremendously over the last 18 months and even beyond, where does Budget 2022 fit into the transformative agenda? Why should Guyanese be comforted in the fact that this government is ensuring their livelihoods is at the top priority?
Yes. Well, they just have to look not far, a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, when the previous administration, as soon as they came into power, levied tremendous taxes on regular Guyanese. Bruce, they even taxed the man the itinerant vendor who walks around and sells, they do the walk and sell man that you talk. A license fee was placed on that. Now you tell me, how do you encourage economic activity by levying on the small man who is trying with his little business, and you levy taxes and license on him? And what we have done, we have alleviated all of those. We eliminated them. This budget 2022 has introduced no new taxes on the ordinary man, no new taxes at all. In fact, what we have done is lifted taxes, excise taxes on trucks, like businesses that might need trucks to that are at a certain CC level, and those excise duties. And so we've lifted more taxes as opposed to levying taxes. So this is us once again saying to the Guyanese that we are not here to take from you. In fact, we want to make sure that you have your house. So we make sure that they are small income small income persons can go to the bank, get a house. We've removed those burdensome taxes that are being levied on them for them to be able to get the loan, insurances to be able to get the loan. We've removed some of those fees. So it has been us saying to Guyanese that we have removed the burden. And it's a literal burden and a figurative burden where you are able to make your livelihood better. We want you to own your own home. We want you to own a car. And so we've allowed them to no longer the restriction on getting vehicles, cars that are a certain age. And so we are having Guyanese to be able to live the dream that they've all been able to live. So no new taxes. And that is phenomenal. That alone says it's a profound statement to Guyanese that we are not levying on you. We are only adding to your livelihoods and to your betterment.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Minister, for taking time out to be here, putting the budget into context, and we can't wait to see what the tourism industry and commerce will roll out for this year and even beyond.
Yes, and the next time we have our media outreach, we want you to come to these different sites. So we took the media around in 2021 to the different tourism sites, and we want you to. So I'm officially extending an invitation.
Thank you for
you
that,
to come.
and I will be there. And thank you to you, our listeners and viewers of this program of Budget in Focus. I am Travis Bruce. Thanks for joining us.